Okay, as per requested, I am going to channel a message about breakthroughs. So this is about spiritual and breakthroughs in who we are becoming. So just tuning in here, give me one sec. Breakthroughs are really about divine timing. However, our perception of divine timing has been a little bit skewed. Somewhere along the lines, we believed that if something isn't happening for us right now in this moment, it's because the timing of the divine isn't optimal. Now, there are many factors that go into this. The astrological lines that present to us daily can help and assist with breakthroughs. And there are certain configurations that bring in specifically transformational energies, which could result in a reach out of a breakthrough. So if we want or are seeking some type of spiritual breakthrough, or ascension is the word that they are giving me, there are some things to take into account. First of all, is there something within yourself that is preventing you from being able to elevate, level up to the next level of your spiritual development? There is a lot that I could say about this, because even those words that I chose so you would understand them aren't actually quite accurate. When we look at where we are at, the only reason why perhaps we would feel as though we need more elevation is because of comparison. If we had no comparison, we would be satisfied with where we are at. But because we have this comparison, we will take little things that we are seeing and we will think, oh, but I'm not doing this. And because we are not doing something, we believe that we are not in line with our purpose or our spiritual path. However, this is not the case. If there was 1 million of us standing all in one room, there is not 2 people in that room that would be exactly the same, or that would develop their gifts exactly the same, or have the same spiritual evolutionary process programmed in their DNA, resulting in the exact same outcome for 2 people. This is not the case. This would never be the case. Even though several of those beings that are in there are fractals of the same soul, each has its own purpose, its own lesson to fulfill. So, when we are talking about spiritual breakthroughs, perhaps there has already been a significant breakthrough. Perhaps you have gone from a place of believing something that you no longer believe in any of that at all anymore. You had a breakthrough at one point. What happens is we have developed a mindset that says, more, I always need more, I always need more. And through that need for more, it keeps our motivation up. It keeps us driving forward in our life. If we all of a sudden were satisfied completely with where we were at, we would stop progressing, which would actually stop evolution from occurring. This is why it is inbuilt within us to continually push forward, to strive for the next goal, to attain that next thing. Transpiring from thoughts in the mind comes our life experiences. Therefore, if there are experiences that you are currently experiencing that you think should be elevated more in some way, then you must look at the beliefs that are housed within your mental mind and understand why there is not further advancement than there is. I will tell you why. It is because of some form of belief that is keeping you stuck or stagnant. And most likely, You aren't even aware that it exists within you. If you are, then you have probably been working very diligently to eradicate it, to remove it, to cleanse it, to clear it away. Good work. You'll get there. If you remain unaware of what it is that is dictating your life and your life experiences, it can't change. It is awareness. So, in regards to spiritual breakthroughs, there will come a time, there will come a moment when a deepening happens. I imagine this happens for you quite often. Anyways, where something is said, even though you may have heard it before or in the past, but it hits you deeper, differently, strikes a chord, changes the way that you think. This is showing that there is transformation that has taken place in that very moment that the deeper awareness or the deeper understanding has come through to you. When you are looking for some big, huge, significant transformation, it can be harder. This would be like someone wanting to lose 100 pounds. They aren't going to lose it by tomorrow. It's going to be the little baby steps that eventually get them to their end goal. This is a very similar process. When we take these very little baby steps, we are working towards our goal. And what is happening is we are foundationally in our life saying, this is what I want and I am willing to work towards it. By taking action in this way, it propels us forward, it continues us moving forward and gaining those little baby steps. Now, if we want some bigger realization to come through, some bigger transformation to occur, then we need to do something differently than what we've done in the past. So, perhaps if currently you spend 15 or 20 minutes in meditation, perhaps you want to bump this up to 40 minutes. This would be similar to if you wanted to lose 100 pounds and you were only going to the gym for 30 minutes a day, you would lose that weight twice as fast if you doubled what it was that you were doing. This is the exact same principles or rules that apply to spiritual development. The purpose of this is truly dedicated time. It is also showing the intention that you have towards the intended goal. Because you are constantly supported by the divine, always, you never aren't, it is only us that might slow down or block any progress from coming in. Let me give you an example. You want to lose 100 pounds. It's going really good. You're getting a lot of advancements and things are feeling really good. You're down 50 pounds. All of a sudden, you hit a plateau. You've been doing the same thing day after day after day, but for some reason, this week, it's not working anymore. What happens? Feelings of frustration come up. Feelings of failure, feelings of disappointment. Sometimes people at this point quit altogether and they say, what's the point? What am I even doing this for? I can't keep going. It's not working for me. This is the same in our spiritual evolution. Sometimes we get frustrated, down on ourselves, or even down on the divine and thinking, what's the point? Sometimes we get frustrated and think, maybe I'm just making this up. Sometimes we get frustrated and think, maybe I'm actually going crazy and I need to stop doing this. There's so many factors because of our human mind that come into play. However, if you're wanting to lose 100 pounds and you're at 50, you can know, oh, I have 50 pounds left to lose, or you can know, oh man, I already lost 50 pounds. Obviously, I can lose another 50. Everything is mental attitude. So, when you realize and understand where it is that you came from, and perhaps this might be a valuable exercise, sit there and meditate and think about where you were 5 years ago in your spiritual development and compare it to where you are now. This way, you're comparing yourself to you and not to some outside force that truly has nothing to do with you. And so as you compare that old version of self to the new version of self, you will see the advancements that have come. It is like you have already lost the 50 pounds. You're already so close to your goal. Maybe when you look, you've actually lost 80 or 90, and there's only 10 left to go. Either way, whatever it is that comes through for you, you can understand that it takes time and it takes mental processes. If I wanted to lose 100 pounds, I would have to follow a routine daily. I would have to stick to what it is that I'm doing that is working and continue to do that same thing day after day, over and over. It is the same with spiritual development. When we are continually working towards the path, listening to things that are going to uplift us, whether that even just be our higher mind because we're in a state of meditation, or listening to our higher self, or listening to a book, listening to a podcast, listening to something along the lines of spiritual development that allow us to think and allow us to take a certain percent of our energy in the day and devote it to divine development. This could be anything spiritual that you devote a certain amount of time to in a day. This is extremely helpful, doing this. So, the best part about this is that you are alive forever while you're here in this life. Every day you're living, every day you're alive. Every day there is an opportunity for more development, for more spiritual development. And it's truly about consistency with time. Sometimes people set aside a certain time. Let me give you an example. They decide, I'm going to go to church and I'm going to take 1 hour of my week and give it to God. Well, what do? They arrive, they chat with people, they visit with the community, they listen to the lesson, they sing some songs, and then they leave, hopefully with their spirit renewed. However, if you were to look at the week and the amount of actual hours that were in the week, they didn't even devote 1% of their time to their spiritual development. Not even 1%. So although an hour at the time when we're there may seem like a lot, it really isn't that much. So what amount of time would you like to spend in a day? I understand that there can be restrictions or there can be limits, and I also understand that these too are only present because of beliefs. Therefore, if there was a restriction on your time that was not allowing you to have the amount of time that you would prefer and like to have, you could shift the belief around that, and you could tell yourself, oh, I have so much time to meditate. And if I haven't the time in the day, I make the time. There's so much time that I take to meditate, to spend with the divine, to spend on my spiritual development, to spend reading materials that elevate my spiritual development. And as you can understand and look at your week, think about this. In this modern day, how much time is spent on your phone or on your computer or on your television or on social media? How much of your time is spent? I bet it's more than that 1%, or not even the 1%. It is probably a bigger investment that you have made in these things than you have made in your own spiritual development and connection with the divine. This will be apparent and will play out in your life as such. You will be more connected to the things like your phone or Netflix or the television than you are to your connection with the divine, purely because of your devotion and the time that you've spent. This would be like saying, I have 2 best friends. This one best friend, I really like them, but I don't give them any of my time. This other best friend, I give them all of my time. Which one are you going to know better? Which one are you going to feel closer to? Which one are you going to feel more devoted to? Out of habit, it's going to be the one that you spent the most time with. Not only are you going to know them better, they are going to know you better. There is going to be an energetic exchange that is completely different than the other best friend that you don't give any of your time to. So, when we are looking for breakthroughs and transformations, the best way to rapidly accelerate the progress that we are looking and hoping for and wanting for, to get that deep breakthrough and understanding that makes everything go, oh, that's why. Oh, I see all the things, is purely time. So, if you can, and if you can't, I'll teach you how. If you can, set aside some time every single day, a devoted time. Perhaps you read, perhaps you meditate, perhaps you pray, but that time is set aside specifically for you, because you are only doing this for you. You aren't doing it to please God. You aren't doing it to please anybody else. You are only doing this for you and for your development. So this is a gift that you are truly giving to yourself, giving yourself that time. Now, if you say, oh, I actually don't have the time, first of all, perceive honestly. Could you exchange television, phone, social media, things like this, and then have time? And if the answer is still no, then there is a belief, and it is probably long-standing within you, that your time is taken up, perhaps by yourself and your activities and hobbies, or perhaps by other people who constantly seem to need your attention. Either way, all of these things are based and rooted in a belief of, I do not have enough time for myself. And when you believe in this, it will play out and you will not have enough time for yourself. Now you may say, but I actually don't. And I will tell you, but the only reason is because of belief. So when you can sit down and take time and meditate and go in and examine this belief, what does that feel like to not have enough time? Where do you feel the tension and the tightness and the resistance in your body that is pushing away all the wonderful things that are meant for you? Hold on to that feeling of tension. Follow the cords back to when it began. Heal it. Use this process to find the root of the issue so it can be changed, so that you can free up your energy and find even more minutes, hours, days, weeks, months, years, time that is available to you. I will leave you with this. Your life is time. That's what it is. And each one of us has a different amount of time, and we don't know how much time we got until it's gone. So, what is it that you value? Because whatever it is that you value, that is what you give your time to. And because those are the things that you value, the things that you are giving your time to, ask yourself this: are those things valuing your back? Are you getting back what it is that you are giving? Because I can tell you, with the union with the divine, the exchange is always equal. So if you invest your time where there's equal reciprocity, where there's equal give and receive, you're going to feel a lot happier. You're going to feel more joy, and you're going to have even more wonderful things that transpire in your life and in your world. That's what I got for you here today. This is the message. Thank you so much for the question in the first place. I hope that this answered your question. And if you would like something deeper, or you were hoping for something different along these lines, let me know in the comments and I will make something for you. Thanks so much. Thanks for tuning in, and I will see you next time.